I know the Secretary very well. I could probably get in a lot of trouble today for any of what I said. So I'll keep it very short because we really need to hear from him about the Farm Bill. But I do want to share with you that he's a very good friend. I have the honor and privilege of serving for 3 years as his Lieutenant Governor. He was an outstanding governor of our great state. Left the economy in great shape, so I can provide tax relief to all Nebraskans. I thank you for that. We in Nebraska are very proud of the fact that he's now Secretary of Agriculture. And look what he's done already. He and his department have conducted 52 Farm Bill listening sessions all across America to get a sense what farmers, ranchers, and producers want in this next Farm Bill. And he made a proposal to Capitol Hill that's been very well received in the ag community. It'll be the framework for the next Farm Bill. And I can tell you that's because the Secretary is very honest and straightforward. He's a good listener and he understands agriculture. I'm proud to present to you a very good friend of this organization, Secretary Mike Johanns.
Well, let me start out and express my appreciation for such a nice introduction. I always felt that if I was succeeded by somebody who created a situation where I went back to Nebraska and people said, Mike who, then it had a successful successor. And we do. Dave Hyman's doing a great job back there. And Dave, as a tax-paying Nebraskan, I appreciate the tax relief. So thank you very much. And to all of you, I see some new faces, some folks I don't know, but I see many faces of people that I do know. So it's good to be back in front of you. In my discussion today, I'm going to focus on Farm Bill, and we put a slide presentation in front of you there that I'm just going to walk through pretty quickly here, try to get you back on schedule, and then be happy to take any questions that you have on any topic. Well, let me, if I might, start out with the Farm Bill itself. I think oftentimes people think of the Farm Bill, they think it's, well, that's the piece of legislation that we authorize the farm subsidy programs. And it is so much more than that. In fact, the budget we submitted to Congress this year really tells the story. 60% of our budget this year will be for nutrition programs. About 25% will actually be for the subsidy programs. Well, this slide depicts what we are going through now in terms of the reauthorization of the Farm Bill. Sure, it's our commodity program support, it's conservation and forestry, it's renewable energy, research, trade, food stamps, and other nutrition and rural development. The Farm Bill is one of those pieces of legislation that you have to address, otherwise you revert back to the 1949 Farm Bill. So there isn't an option. We have to do something with this Farm Bill this year. Now, in 2002, as many of you might remember, I was one of the lead governors for the Western Governors Association for the Farm Bill, for the reauthorization of the Farm Bill at that time. I supported very publicly the Farm Bill of 2002. I felt it was the right policy for the times. Why? Commodity prices were low. Exports had declined for 5 straight years. The debt-to-asset ratio was nearly 15%. So when the 2002 Farm Bill was passed, it did some things that were positive for agriculture. It provided needed support. It was the first ever Farm Bill that had an energy title. You can imagine that. We're so invested in energy now, yet the 2002 bill was the first one to provide energy support. It expanded conservation programs and increased funding by about 80%. The times do change in agriculture. The farm that I grew up on in north central Iowa is a much different farm today. If you look at times just 5 years later, here in 2007, commodity prices are strong for most program crops. Exports have increased every year to a record $68.7 billion in 06. And our expectations are that we will set another record in 07 of $78 billion in that vicinity. We have the lowest debt-to-asset ratio for agriculture in recorded history. We're at about 11% compared to 15% just a few years ago. And renewable energy is now a significant contributor to our rural economies. Well, as Dave mentioned, we did Farm Bill forums all across the country. We got a lot of great input. We did 52 of those in 48 states. Went to all the western states. The only two we did not get to were Mississippi and Louisiana because of hurricanes. Right about the time we were doing the Farm Bill forums, they were struck by hurricanes. But we developed some principles upon which we wanted to build the next Farm Bill. Number one, we wanted it to be more predictable. We wanted our proposals to be market-oriented, provide support when revenue was low, despite high prices. We wanted it more equitable. We who have been around program crops all of our life sometimes don't recognize that 60% of U.S. farmers are not subsidized. They do not receive a cash subsidy. In fact, 93% of the subsidies, and I'm not talking small amounts of money, I'm talking about billions of dollars annually, 93% of the subsidies go to the producers of 5 crops: corn, wheat, rice, cotton, and soybeans. So we wanted a better distribution of the farm payments, not in terms of subsidies, but just in terms of moving agriculture forward. We wanted it better able to withstand challenge. We did not build a farm bill based upon the rules of Doha or what Doha might turn out to be, but we definitely wanted to be mindful of the fact that a large portion of the income for agriculture comes from trade. And of course, we wanted to wisely and effectively spend tax dollars. We should be able to justify these programs whether we're in the middle of town or whether we're in the middle of the country. And we wanted to demonstrate fiscal responsibility. So if you look at the overall highlights of the Farm Bill, you will see that we save about $10 billion over the 02 Farm Bill. If you add in disaster relief, including the recent action by Congress on disaster relief, we're actually saving about $20 billion. And it fits within the President's plan to balance the budget within 5 years. We also support emerging priorities. We increase funding for renewable energy and conservation, research, rural development, and trade. We provide actually $5 billion more than the baseline for the 02 Farm